One of the questions priests sometimes get asked is, what should I do when I know that someone I love is actively in the process of dying? And this doesn't necessarily mean that somebody just receives a diagnosis of a terminal illness, but when we're a couple of days away from death, or a couple of weeks even, it's a good question to ask, and it shows a lot of deep love for the one who is ill. I think the first thing to do is to call for a priest, and ideally call for a priest before the person is unconscious. There are various rites the church can have. There's the anointing of the sick, there's the giving of viaticum, the hearing of a last confession. All of these things are very powerful moments. And if you wait until someone is already unconscious, there's not as much that the priest can do. We can still do the anointing and we can still pray the commendation of the dying, but it's not as effective of getting the person ready to depart this life, to go home to be with the Lord. As difficult as it is to call a priest in those moments, it's a phenomenal sign of love and of honor and of dignity, and will be a great blessing for everyone involved. Among the rites that sort of accompany someone during their last days is the anointing of the sick, viaticum, the receiving of communion. Viaticum means for the journey, so receiving the final Eucharist for the journey off to heaven. And then confession, of course, but also the commendation of the dying, which consists of a series of scriptural passages. You can either use one, or I think there are around 20 different options that are given, together with the litany of the saints and various prayers, asking for the forgiveness of sins and the cleansing of the person's soul, and preparing the person to depart this life. Once someone has died, then there's a beautiful commendation of the dying, where the priest can entrust that person's soul into the great and merciful hands of God. All of these rituals are very important, and I think as much as can be done, should be done. At the same time, something else that might be done when you know that someone is actively dying, ask them, is there anyone that you want to talk with yet? Is there something yet that needs to be said? Something that has to be a form of affection that has to be shown, or even something that maybe has to be taken back. See if you can gather as many family and friends together as you can for a final goodbye. See if you can gather people together to pray the Chaplet of Divine Mercy, to pray the Rosary, to read scriptural passage to the person who is dying. Whatever can be done to offer comfort and the assurance of faith. That's what we should do when we know that someone we love is dying.